Hey there, everyone. This is Samuel Johnson, and welcome back to the Alien Force Retrospectives. And today we're going to be looking at episode 22 of Ben 10 Alien Force Inside Man. And in this episode, we don't start out with any of the main characters, Ben, Gwen, or so forth. Instead, we start off with this man driving a truck on the road, and strangely enough, he seems to be a little out of it. He seems sweating. He's scared, and it turns out that he's having flashes of the DNA aliens, the Highbreed, and all these things, and he has a memory of him stealing this truck from the DNA aliens. At which point, once he remembers this, he winds up crashing the truck off the road, and once he recovers, he, well, strange to the point, he's kind of suffering from a bit of amnesia. He can't remember who he is, he can't remember why he has this truck, or he doesn't remember who he is, what his job is, but he remembers the DNA aliens, and he remembers that he stole this truck for some reason or another that the aliens needed for. So he managed. He ultimately learns that his name is Tyler because he looks through his wallet and finds his driver's license and so forth. And so he goes to a police station and tries telling his story to the police, but of course, a guy running in saying, "Oh, aliens are taking over! I got away from them." It sounds crazy. So they lock him up, but it turns out that the police chief, once Tyler's out of the room, he picks up the phone and says, "Yeah, he's here." At which point that night, Tyler is attacked by two officers who, when he tries fighting back, it turns out that they're actually DNA aliens wearing ID masks, which he ends up knocking off. So he manages to push past the DNA aliens, and it turns out that apparently Tyler does have some kind of immense strength, as he manages to wrap them in his bed frame and run out of the police station. But when he gets outside, and it looks like he's surrounded by DNA aliens until, well, Ben, Gwen, and Kevin show up in Kevin's car. They save him. At first he's a little disbelieving, but after they state they know who the aliens are and everything, they want to know why he stole it. He says, "I don't know." They want something because I forgot to mention this. The DNA aliens attacked Tyler because they were asking, and they were demanding something called an oscillator key, which Tyler apparently has. And while Tyler doesn't know exactly what it is, he pretty much assumes that it's in the truck. That's why he stole it. It must be important. So they drive over. So he tells them. So they're driving to where the truck is, but it turns out the DNA aliens are searching for it, so they have to be careful. But they manage to find the truck, and Tyler ends up seeing that all three of them have superpowers. So they manage to get inside the truck, and they find the oscillator key, and somehow the DNA aliens beat them to the punch because the truck was off road in a ditch, and when Ben is the first to go inside. He goes chroma stone and blasts his way in, and yet somehow the DNA aliens are already inside. I don't know how that happened. I don't know. So they fight them off. So Ben, Gwen, and Kevin fight them off, but in the meantime, when Ben went in, he created a hole. When he got knocked out and the DNA aliens followed, they made several holes. So Tyler manages to look inside and sees the oscillator key, and suddenly everything starts coming back. He remembers the arch from the undercover episode. He remembers overhearing the Highbreed talking about a plan, or talking about a plan, calling them Brazilians, or that one day, and that this planet will be cleaned. Bit by bit, he's starting to realize what's going on, and he realizes why he took this key and why it's so important. So Ben, Gwen, and Kevin manage to fight through the DNA aliens, though the DNA aliens are fighting harder than usual, and they manage to get down to one who escapes with the rest of the DNA aliens following after. And so once the fight's over, Tyler explains to Ben what the oscillator key is. Well, Kevin earlier stated that an oscillator key is used for traveling through space. It turns out that the oscillator key is the final component for the arch in Los Soledad. It turns out that they're planning to use the arch as a portal so that they can jump across time and space. And of course they think, "Oh, where are they going? You're doing?" But then Tyler explains, "No, they're not going. They're coming." It turns out that this is the episode where we finally learn what the Highbreed's grand plan this entire time was. It's pretty much an invasion. They're what they're doing now, but on a grander scale. Pretty much they want to bring the entire Highbreed fleet to Earth so they can destroy it, so they can kill all life on it. That was their big plan. They're gathering all those components so they can get an entire fleet of Highbreed here. That's why of course he thinks, "Oh great, this is great." Ben states, well, I think I know why you know this. And so Ben reaches for Tyler, and it turns out this entire time Tyler was a DN alien. He was wearing an ID mask, which of course even he's shocked at because he doesn't because while he may not have his memory, he feels like he's a regular guy. Whenever he learns something new about himself, it feels right. When he learns his name is Tyler, he believes it. He knows his age. When he finds a little bass pick in his wallet, he realizes, oh, sounds right. I'm a musician. I'm gonna play bass. And yet they're wondering, and yet he's just saying, but no, why am I a DN alien? And so Ben, Gwen, and Kevin explain that DN aliens are just regular people at first, until the Highbreed put a xenocide on their face and overwrite them, and make them their servants. And it turns out that, and it also further explains how Tyler stole the oscillator key. He was actually supposed to take it. He was the man that was transporting the oscillator key to La Soledad to be put into the arch. But on the way there, it turns out he was It turns out that the entire time he was a DN alien. He was fighting against the programming, and on the way there, he actually managed to break it. But the side effect was that while he managed to overwrite the programming, he still had not totally regained himself. Hence why his memories are still foggy and all over the place. So pretty much Tyler feels like Tyler pretty much loses all hope except for the fact that they need to make sure that, like, even if he's a DN alien, he can't let the Highbreed come to Earth and destroy everything. So he helps the group by ripping apart the truck, and so Gwen lassos up the oscillator key. Ben goes humongous to carry it, but the DN aliens wind up returning. Except now they're in a spaceship and they have a tractor beam blasting towards the Earth, so they can grab the oscillator key. It leads to a fight scene where Gwen puts up a shield to fend off the tractor beam. They all start fighting their best. Ben goes jet ready to try and fly into the ship to turn off the tractor beam, but he's not successful. And the DN aliens actually manage to capture Tyler, and their plan is to just reinstall the programming so that he becomes a loyal servant. They manage to get him, and Gwen ultimately fails in fending off the tractor beam. And so the DN aliens grab Tyler and the oscillator key, and they go up. But for some reason, and when Tyler's being brought up, Kevin tells him blast the mirror, and for some reason Ben doesn't. He saves Tyler, which I'm not saying is wrong, but for some reason. But here's the thing: that's actually kind of a dumb thing on Ben's part, if you ask me. And you can make the argument, if he shot off the tractor beam, then Tyler would have fallen. Well, he's Jet Ray. He could have flown in and grabbed him and the other two DN aliens before it hit the ground, and the oscillator key would have broken apart the instant it hit the ground. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't really get that, but it pretty much ends with the DN aliens getting the oscillator key and flying away. Pretty much they think, well, we're screwed now. What are we going to do? And Tyler, of course, is even more in the dumps because now he just went through all that trouble and it means nothing. That is until Ben comes in. He winds up using the DNA repair function that he discovered in Max Out, and he manages to remove the xenocide from Tyler, turn him back to human, and he winds up regaining all of his memories. So, pretty much, and so the group says that there's always hope and that they're going to be able, and when the time comes, they'll stop the Highbreed's plan. So, yeah, pretty much from an episode standpoint, this episode just kind of serves as exposition. Some good exposition, I will not lie, because I like the angle that they took, that they focus on a single DN alien, and that they kind of introduce the idea that all the DN aliens in some way are actually fighting against their programming and are trying to regain themselves, which I think is a very cool idea, and I do kind of like the mystery with Tyler. Like, you don't know why he was on the base, why he was in La Soledad, how he was able to steal all this, or what they did, or what was done to him, and it is I do like the hints throughout the episode, like when the DN aliens confront him in the jail cell and he actually manages to bend the bed frame to hold them back. I do, and even when his truck crashed, he managed to get out without a scratch on him. So, which I think is are some nice touches. And on top of that, the episode again goes back as exposition. It also serves more to the grander plot and everything. It serves more for the grander plot about what's going on and everything, and what's going on with the Highbreed are planning, which is really nice. And it kind of lays everything out, kind of setting up for the finale. So, but I think honestly, from a story standpoint, that's all it's got going for it. The exposition I think is nice, and it does reveal everything. And I do like the mystery of it. And again, Tyler actually is a nice character. You do kind of like I like the mystery of building up to the reveal that he's actually a DNA alien who fought back against who managed to break his programming. And I do like, because I like, and I do. It is really nice, and I do like Tyler. I do want to see him. I want to see him come out of everything okay, because they do show he's a nice guy. He's trying his best to do. He's trying his best to make the his best to find something good out of a bad situation. Because once he learns he's a DNA alien, he actually takes advantage of it by using his strength, fighting off the other ones, using his powers. I think it's really nice, and I like seeing that happen. But on the whole, I think Ant Man is just all right for it's just all right to nothing bad. It's not bad, and again, I like the stuff with Tyler. I like the stuff that expands on it, but honestly, it doesn't really do much. It doesn't really do anything new. It's not bad, and again, I think really the biggest strength is Tyler. Just kind of trying to see him work through this, or trying to make the best out of it, or even his own kind of thing, even his own kind of existential dilemmas. Like because once he learns the DNA alien, he pretty much just thinks it's all over. I'm screwed. I might as well just try my best to help you guys. Even the point where he thinks that once it's all over, that he's pretty much just done. And they don't go too, admittedly they don't go too much into it, but it is still nice. Honestly, I think really the only thing that makes this episode I think the things that make this episode worth it are that exposition and the stuff with Tyler, which I like. I really do. We also learn that Crystal Sapiens, aka Chromastone species, are immune to xenocytes, as the DNA aliens actually try and do a smart move and try and grab Ben while they're fighting, as they throw a xenocyte at him. But because he was Chromastone, the xenocyte does nothing, and it's actually really nice. Actually, kind of an amusing scene which says indestructible titanium, I think indestructible silicon guys. Nice try though, because it's just nice. It's just kind of a nice little tidbit. I don't know. Yeah. On the whole, it's not a bad episode. The stuff with Tyler is really nice, and I do like the exposition. But overall, it's just kind of an expository episode. Not a bad expository episode. I will not lie. It's entertaining a little with just the Tyler stuff, but yeah, overall, it's just okay. It's just an okay episode. So yeah, that's really all I have to say about this episode. Kind of thought I had more. So yeah. But anyway, thanks for watching. I'm Samuel Johnson, and tune in next week where we start looking at the final 4 episodes of season 2. So, yeah. Once again, I'm Sam Johnson. I'll see you then. Take care.